Hey you guys, it's Britt. Tonight we're here to talk about when true crime goes way too far, goes way outside the lines, and my thoughts on a couple of things that I've seen recently. So if you're interested, please keep watching. All right, you guys, so one of my subscribers left a comment on my video the other day and said, have you seen the video from Shining Light about Shannan Watts? And there was a little bit of confusion because I made a video talking about Ken, and in that video, I included another TikTok creator. Her name is Meredith. She has talked about Ken. I included her opinions as just additional commentary. I do that sometimes. And somebody left a comment and said, oh no, not Meredith. She bashes Shannan Watts. And I was like, whoa, hold on. Like, I need to look into this because I really like Meredith over on TikTok, and I don't want to support her if she's somebody who's, cruel and I just have no clue about it. But I ended up figuring out she's not talking about Meredith on TikTok. She's actually talking about a Meredith on YouTube. And a few months ago, I don't know if any of you guys will remember this, but I was doing a vlog and I talked about Shannan Watts hate channels and how I've come across people, TikTok and YouTube, but definitely YouTube, where it's people that are just hating on Shannan Watts and they make fun of her and they drag her and go on and on and on. And it's been over 4 years since that happened. So for me, at a certain point, it's like, okay, that kind of content was never valuable, but like, why on earth are we talking about this so many years later? And so she was talking about this channel on YouTube that I had mentioned in passing, but I never used Meredith's channel name when I mentioned that in passing. I was just making a blanket statement for anyone who speaks poorly about Shannan Watts. Like, what are you doing? But I want to revisit that because there's another channel, so many channels, it's confusing. But there's another channel called Shining Light. And Shining Light did a video on this Meredith on YouTube who talks poorly about Shannan. And I listened to Shining Light's video and I really agreed with a lot of the things that she had to say. My opinion on Shannan Watts from the get-go has been, I followed the case very closely, especially like the first 6 to 8 months. I was fully invested, watching everything. I've watched the documentaries that have come out since. But initially I was really, really invested because, it had the whole country watching every moment, and just so upsetting, so tragic. And my opinion on Shannan from the get-go has been she was an imperfect person with an absolute monster as a husband who annihilated his family. Like in true crime, when we talk about family annihilators, people are talking about people like Chris Watts, like monsters like Chris Watts. He is, I don't even have any words because most of y'all know all about this, so I don't need to put a history lesson in this video. But me being a realist, I can also look at Shannan and see some of the content that she put out, and I can see that she is imperfect just like the rest of us. She had bad days. She might have used a tone that she wouldn't have usually used in some of the videos that she made. She was in an MLM. If you guys know anything about me, you'll know I don't like MLMs. But do I care if Shannan Watts was in an MLM? Absolutely not. Do I care that, she had bad days? Does that take away from the sympathy that I feel that she was annihilated by the person that she was madly in love with? No, because Once you are the victim of a murder, then you are the victim of a murder. At that point in time, any opinions that I might have go in the garbage. I'm not going to look at a video and be like, oh, well, she was probably having a bad day. No, that's not needed because now she's a victim. So reacting to her Facebook videos and having anything to say about them is absolutely useless because she is a victim and she was killed by the person that she was madly in love with. And he was a dirty, slimy weasel who had an affair, annihilated his family, was just like an awful, awful monster. So this video isn't going to be very long, but I want to say this. If you guys ever come across a channel like Meredith, or Shining Light also mentioned a couple of other channels, but I don't want to get the channel name wrong and name the wrong person. But there are a handful of these people that are negatively talking about Shannan 4 years later, almost 5 years later. And people like this, like Meredith, and I've just recently covered Zav Girl, Natasha Cooper. Natasha Cooper I talked about 2 years ago, but these, what I call the termites of true crime, they make the entire genre look like a bunch of just, you know, willing to say anything, just using victims as a way to build up their channels. It gives true crime a really bad name, but there are definitely a few that are at the very, very bottom. And I think that speaking negatively about a victim 4 years after the crime, even if it was 4 minutes after the crime, as I said, any opinions get cut off. Once you're a victim and you're no longer here, if I saw something and I think your shirt is ugly, I'm not going to say your shirt is ugly because now you are a victim. Any minuscule opinions that I might have, done. They're in the trash. I think that these families of the victims have been through so much, especially when we're talking about something that has played out on international level and been so highly covered. These families have been through so much, and to have people like Meredith 4 years later still creating deplorable content using their family member's name is a side of YouTube that I hate that it even exists, but it does. So I will link Shining Light's video in my description box in case you guys want to watch it. Fair warning, it is very upsetting to listen to, but she adds her own commentary to definitely like even out the bad with some good and some facts for sure. But I wanted to share this with you guys. I don't cover true crime. I'm not a true crime channel, but I am a commentary channel, and sometimes my commentary might have to do with true crime. So that's what today's video was. But how do you guys feel about this? Do you know about these channels? Have you ever heard of them? I can't wait to hear what you guys have to say. But for now, if you like the video, please leave a like and a comment. And if you'd like to see more from me in the future, please subscribe. I'll see you guys soon. Bye.